This is Luke Paulson, the Catholic Conservative, and welcome to the news of the week for July 20th, 2024. And if you enjoy these videos, do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. The rhetoric that led to this. The fake news, before the blood was even dry from the gunshot, decided to lie about the assassination attempt. CNN decided to say that he fell, and the Washington Post decided to say that he was scared by loud noises. Neither was true, and both were false. There was an assassination attempt against President Trump. Now, it is awfully rich that the fake news is trying to say that this was unexpected, when in reality, they wanted something like this to happen. Their mouthpieces in popular media were calling for Trump to be beaten up, assassinated, or even his new home blown up. I created a compilation of these, but something tells me that these clips are not allowed on YouTube. As you can see, for some of them to be here, I even had to censor 2 of the images. Although I bet you all know what is there. Then when all was said and done, they were all still upset. The same people were upset that the shooter missed. Imagine being so upset that a candidate that you do not like survived being killed. That is just sick. Again, I am not sure that I can post these on YouTube either. Some of the bigger channels might have protections, but I do not. As such, I will put a link to both of these compilations in the description below. And keep in mind that these are just a few examples that I found after searching for a few minutes. It took some time to edit out the vulgar words. If I had all day, I could probably find dozens of unhinged liberals defending a would-be assassin, and hundreds of examples of Democrats calling President Trump Hitler and saying that he needs to be taken out. And the Secret Service will not lift a finger to help. The Secret Service did nothing. That is right. They did nothing at all to stop this. Was President Trump just the luckiest man on the face of the earth, or was it divine protection from the Almighty? I leave that to you to decide for yourselves, although you can probably guess where I stand. Moving on, there is plenty of footage a minute in advance of attendees pointing out that there is a man on the roof with a rifle. They told the police and Secret Service, but nothing was done. There was even a Secret Service sniper who did not engage until after shots were fired. This whole thing could have been prevented, and the man who was killed would still be alive. Clinton needs to be much more careful about who she hires to take out her enemies from now on. However, another problem is that the head of Secret Service is a diversity hire, who is more interested in getting women into positions than getting qualified people. Even if the Secret Service was qualified, the committee investigating the mostly peaceful protests of January 6th tried to remove President Trump's Secret Service protection. This was all done because President Trump is supposedly a threat to democracy. However, the Supreme Court has handed him a serious win: immunity from charges. According to President Trump, the FBI went to Mar-a-Lago before the raid and confirmed that the safe that the documents were in could be beefed up and then left. Initially, this is denied by the same people who believe that he is a dictator without any evidence. Now the charges regarding these documents have been dismissed. He still may have to deal with the floozy in Georgia, and the floozy that violated her contract to keep her trap shut. But this is one victory that he has been handed. There is no need to charge him over more imaginary crimes, especially since her refused to indict Brandon over much more serious charges of classified documents. Either way, while things are falling into place for President Trump, things are not going as swimmingly for the narrative of the Democratic Party. The unhappiest place on earth. As of this writing, the workers at Disneyland are threatening to go on strike. The men in drag, as well as the somewhat normal people who work there, do not believe that they are being paid what they are worth. 14,000 employees is nothing to sneeze at. However, what I find the most hilarious is that this is a hotspot of liberal propaganda. Not only is it in the middle of California, but it is Disney. In other words, the same people who are fighting to raise wages to match the cost of living are not doing so. Perhaps these people only want every other company to raise their wages. Either way, if they go on strike in the middle of the summer, it will not be good for the company's bottom line. On the plus side, fewer children will be indoctrinated. So I say, bring on the strike. And if the park shuts down, everyone wins. However, let us see what happens to other big companies when the minimum wage goes up elsewhere in California. Consequence of minimum wage. McDonald's is perhaps the best known fast food chain, but now everyone therein is being paid $20 an hour. As predicted by everyone who opposed the minimum wage, prices are going up. However, this may even go up to as much as $30 an hour before long. As such, businesses like McDonald's may leave California altogether. Those that remain will have to use AI and kiosks to make up for the higher costs. As for me, I want to give a job to a person, so I do not use self-checkout. However, people in California may not have a choice soon. Then again, without jobs, they cannot afford to buy their food, and this will only make the problem worse. This is a state-sized example of go woke, go broke. Let us move away from communists in America to communists in Europe. Coercion to censor. According to Elon Musk, the European Union offered Twitter a secret and illegal deal. One of the biggest changes that Musk made to the company was allowing people to pay for blue checks. Now, this has largely been criticized, and for good reasons, because bad actors can and did misuse it. However, the EU has decided that this violates their Digital Services Act. They plan to fine Musk hundreds of millions of euros. For us Americans, it would amount to just under $190 million. That is no small amount, and is nothing to sneeze at. So because the European Union has decided that this will make it harder to censor topics, they went to Musk to make him
an offer he can't refuse.
Musk has vowed to fight this in court, and we will see what happens. A VP pick MAiD. President Trump has officially chosen his running mate, J.D. Vance. He is former military and is still young in his time in Washington. This has a lot of benefits for Trump. This will help him with the young vote and possibly strengthen the military vote as well. I have no idea what to expect from him. However, I am interested to find out what smear stories the fake news is going to come up with. Think about some of the smear tactics that they have used already. Remember how they said that 3 boys where Karen Pence worked allegedly cut a black girl's dreadlocks?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Without looking into it, the fake news published the story just to smear Mike Pence and by extension President Trump. Then it turned out that she lied about the whole thing. They are going to do the same thing with J.D. Vance. Mark my words. However, let us go to a child that was harmed with a much darker ending. Your child or your career. It is said that nothing is impossible, but some things are just less likely than others. Case in point, a lawyer for Porsche did something that is possible, but should be unthinkable. She took her newborn baby and dropped the child 12 feet to the ground. She was sentenced to a measly 7.5 years for this heinous crime. According to her attorneys, this was an accident. This means that they expect us to believe that a new mother held her child outside a window at arm's length. I cannot believe that. But she is not the first woman to have done something like this. Some women, like the ancient Romans, just leave the child out on the street, and others try to flush the child down the toilet. This lawyer was afraid that her career would be ruined, and now she has ruined her career. I cannot even imagine having that low of a view of human life. However, children like this are not the only consequence of the ignorance of humanity. Canada is making MAiD even worse. MAiD targets the handicapped. Medical assistance in dying or Canada's professional suicide program is in hot water. Disabled Canadians are speaking out against the program because they are repeatedly offered death over treatment. In a socialist system, if you are consuming more resources than you are taking in, the state needs to take the utilitarian approach. There are horror stories from every socialist country and America under Obamacare, where people want to and can get treatment, but the state will not let them. It all started with those who were in unbelievable pain and were dying. Now it is those who are disabled for being a drain on the system. I thought that these were the people who were the most deserving of medical care. Apparently, Canadian doctors do not have a heart. Then you go to a place like Disney. They do not have a soul. Disney's bicycle ride. Snopes is biased beyond imagination. Remember that it took them years to condemn the lie that Trump defended Nazis. However, They are willing to admit a truth that James O'Keefe just revealed in his latest video. He and his team, with the help of some brave whistleblowers, revealed the inside communication at the once family-friendly Disney company. One thing that they did find out is that a certain pride parade where naked men rode bicycles in front of children was endorsed by Disney. While Snopes does not mention Disney, we now know that this is one more thing that Disney wants. If you're buying any of their products, you are supporting this agenda. However, let us talk about Disney's blatant anti-whiteism. Only white men need apply. I know that I am a little late on this one, but I figure that now is as good of a time as any. James O'Keefe and his team also learned something else about Disney. While they will not hire people with a low melanin concentration or men for certain acting jobs, to get into upper management, you must be a, quote, white Jewish man, close quotes. The fake news is probably chomping at the bit to talk about this story, but cannot. Why can they not talk about it? After all, it is clearly discriminating against people with a higher melanin concentration. If they were to talk about this, they would have to talk about the anti-whiteism at the lower levels of Disney, and that is something that they cannot do. Speaking of things that the Democrats wish would fly under the radar, Bob Menendez has been found guilty. Guilty with gold bars. Democratic Senator Bob Menendez has been found guilty of federal corruption and bribery. This is the senator who had all of those gold bars in his safe from his bribes. He was convicted of acting as a foreign agent in his year-long bribery scheme. In this case, the advancement of Egyptian military interests, as opposed to Brandon, who just wants to benefit Ukraine. He faces a maximum of 222 years for the 16 charges if served concurrently. However, CNN admits that the court may not have him serve concurrent charges. Menendez will not be officially sentenced until October 29th, a week before the election. Naturally, Democrats are a little scared that he might split the party. Maybe I'm just blowing smoke. Maybe I'm completely off my rocker, but that is just my opinion. And do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. But before you go, on the left I have last week's video, but you may also enjoy the video on the right.